How can America end the Russia-Ukraine conflict? This has long been a window for observing America's execution of its contraction strategy, because if handled well, it could serve as a model for the Middle East and even East Asia, offering a template for dividing American global influence. However, if the Russia-Ukraine conflict cannot be resolved, talks about the Middle East or East Asia are off the table. Hello, I'm Jeffrey, and welcome to Just Spit Out. As today, April 4th, 2025, I want to talk about Trump's bold strategies and his many setbacks. Mediating the Russia-Ukraine conflict has been one of Trump's most confident foreign policy endeavors. Even before he was elected president of the United States, he promised to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict within 24 hours as part of his campaign. However, the complexity of this issue has clearly exceeded his capabilities, both in terms of comprehension and practical execution. Trump's initial idea was to pressure Ukraine into ceding territory in exchange for a ceasefire. Sounds simple, right? In early negotiations with Russia, America made this a condition, and Russia responded positively at first. But things didn't unfold according to Trump's script. On one hand, he didn't anticipate Zelensky's unwavering stance, and on the other, Europe wasn't happy with the idea in the end. Ukraine didn't secure favorable terms, and the conditions promised to Russia amounted to nothing. This led to Russia launching a major counteroffensive in Kursk while America and Ukraine were at odds. Amid Russia's surge, America and Ukraine proposed a 30-day ceasefire. While this idea wasn't necessarily bad, it was poorly timed. Normally, what you can achieve on the battlefield won't be achieved at the negotiating table. If you can't force a ceasefire on the battlefield, then trying to broker a 30-day ceasefire at the table might only work if you have an enormous amount of leverage. Now, the question is, does Trump have the leverage or does Zelensky? On March 13th, Putin responded positively to the joint statement by America and Ukraine, calling for a 30-day temporary ceasefire. During a press conference with Belarusian President Lukashenko, Putin said the idea of a 30-day ceasefire was good, but there were issues to address. He stated that the temporary ceasefire must be implemented in a way that could lead to long-term peace. So Russia wanted assurances that Ukraine would not mobilize or train soldiers or accept weapons from America during the ceasefire period. To be honest, Russia's conditions were not unreasonable. They just wanted Ukraine to refrain from training soldiers or accepting American weapons. But the real issue is who gets to decide. Do we need a third party to monitor whether Ukraine trains soldiers or accepts weapons? This complicates the situation further. Russia could have made a simpler demand. If all of Ukraine's soldiers are dead, then the ceasefire could go ahead. After Russia subtly rejected the ceasefire proposal, Trump spoke with Putin for 90 minutes. The main takeaway from their conversation was that both sides agreed to avoid attacking each other's energy infrastructure for the next 30 days. How should we view this agreement? It must be analyzed within the current context of the Russia-Ukraine battlefield. Who benefits from this situation and who doesn't? America is pressuring Ukraine to make sacrifices and push for an early ceasefire. At one point, America even halted military aid and intelligence sharing, which led to a major Ukrainian defeat in Kursk. This reflects the battlefield context between America and Russia. And it's clear that Russia currently has the upper hand, while Ukraine is at a significant disadvantage. So, the 30-day ceasefire agreement Trump and Putin reached, meaning no attacks on each other's energy infrastructure, can be translated as, aside from energy infrastructure, everything else is fair game. This reflects not only Russia's view but also the reality accepted by America. In light of the current battlefield context, doesn't this mean that Trump has effectively sold out Ukraine? The question of how America can end the Russia-Ukraine conflict has always been a window for observing its contraction strategy. If done right, it could serve as a model for the Middle East and even East Asia, offering a way to reshape America's global influence. However, if the Russia-Ukraine conflict remains unresolved, discussions about the Middle East and East Asia are off the table. From China's perspective, the longer this situation drags on, the better. Russia and Ukraine aren't in a hurry, Europe isn't in a rush, and China is even less so. Recently, Israel has been bombing Gaza and America has been bombing Yemen. This indirectly pressures Iran, which has shown no interest in American nuclear talks proposal. This is clearly an instance where Trump's efforts have fallen flat. These bombings are signaling to Iran that if they don't negotiate, harsher actions may follow. However, the reality is that America has been trying to get tough for decades without much success. Now, as America is looking to strategically withdraw, how much tougher can it really get? If America were to start a war in the Middle East, the whole world would burst out laughing. Since taking office, Trump has launched attacks in every direction, sometimes just to make a move with no real plan. But now, nearly all of America's initiatives have stopped at the first hurdle, because the real difficulties have exceeded what America is willing to pay for. As the saying goes, you can't make a feast without rice, and America in strategic contraction keeps trying to achieve big results with little effort, even hoping to get something for nothing. This puts Trump, the businessman president, in a tough spot. His grand ambitious strikes have ultimately turned into repeated setbacks. That is all for this episode. Appreciate your listening. Love you guys. I'm Jeffrey. This is Just Spit Out. Just hit the subscription button down below for more unique observations. Shortly, I will see you guys next time.